Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. Audra tells the truth. Audra comes clean. Audra comes clean because, well, I want to sit there and say because she was just being noble and she just felt that it was time. But she came clean because she realized that Damon is most likely is going to be sticking in town because of Lily and, maybe to patch things out with his mom if he's up to it, if he has the time for it. And because he's staying, most likely, Holden is staying. Since Holden is staying, there's a good chance that the truth is going to come out about her past with Holden. So I felt like she tried to get ahead of it by letting Nate know what wound up happening. So here's the thing, I thought it was about the cover-up. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, he did sit there and say it was about him, the cover-up with Tucker and everything like that. A couple episodes back. But she does sit there and say that when he came, the first time that they saw each other, she knew him. But here's the thing, though. She didn't necessarily know. Like, she didn't know that Holden was lying about being Damien. She thought at one point that maybe that was his name, and that when he met her, that when she met him back in the day, that he just lied about his name. But she says that she knows him because he helped her out of a jam. Something happened when Tucker sent her to go meet some record producers or whatever. Let's just sit there and say they were less than gentlemanlike. Holden was there. Holden stepped in and, helped her out that situation. A really bad situation. And so that's how they know each other. They went on a couple of dates or whatever. I could have swore she said she didn't sleep with him, but who knows at this point. But anyway, she was like, hey, listen, I just want to sit there and be honest with you about, our connection. Nate is upset about it, but he's also hurt by it. See, I talked about this in General Hospital with Brooklyn telling Chase about the fact that she had a baby years ago when she was in high school and how he wasn't upset about that. And I thought it was a little kind of odd. I'm not saying you have to be full-blown yelling and screaming at someone. But when Nate was he was kind of, he didn't say he was hurt by it, but you can tell he was hurt by it. And, I talked about this in Kyrie's stream, and, we had difference of opinion. Because for me personally, I understand where Nate's coming from. When I get with someone, I give them everything. I give them all of me, and I am fully transparent. Because I feel like that's how it should be. There really shouldn't be any secrets or anything like that. And for her to withhold that, I guess in some sort of way, maybe he felt like he wasn't doing enough. He wasn't doing enough to make her feel completely and totally trust him. And I'm not saying she did that on purpose or anything like that. That's just something that most men take as a role as far as being, provider and protector. You want to make them feel like they're comfortable enough to sit there and say anything, right? And be able to tell you anything, no matter whatever it is in their past. And yeah, I understand some people sit there saying, what happened in my past and my past before I met you, and so why should I have to sit there and tell you everything? And I feel like that's, there's certain major things that I feel like you should. I'm not sitting there saying, when I sit there and say honesty and total transparency, right? You have to be 100, and no one's sitting there saying you have to be 100% all the time on everything. Okay? I would never sit there and tell whoever I'm with, let's sit there and say their farts are very vomit-inducing. I would never sit there and say anything like, listen, when I got together with you, I never realized how much I would have to sit there and spend on Glade. Like, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, certain truths you don't necessarily have to sit there and say. You don't have to sit there and say every single thing, but major things like that. And I get when she was sitting there saying, like, there's certain things about my past I don't like to bring up. And maybe it was a lot more traumatic for her having these guys come up on her, ready to do God knows what. So maybe on some level, I guess I kind of get it, but like, it happened a while ago. It happened, you know, I'm not saying to say like 20 years ago, but it happened a while ago though. Hell, it could have happened 20 years ago, but my point is, it's just, and also, I'm like, why didn't you tell him that? Why didn't you not sit there and tell him that when y'all met? Why didn't you not sit there and say anything? Like, why withhold that for? Is there something more? See, when I watched it on YouTube, I saw some comments, and someone snipped there saying that Nate's a fool because she could be withholding more information. I grant that she didn't actually have to sit there and say it. She didn't have to sit there and tell him the truth. And from her perspective, she could have just sat there and stay quiet, and if it came out, it came out. But she decided to sit there and say what wound up happening to her. So, like, when that person commented, what they commented was like, I was there for. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain little things that I don't necessarily always get. But, you had that going on. So anyway, he wasn't really too upset. They hugged and everything like that, and hugged it out and worked it out. Next, you got Summer and Daniel, and they're still worried. They're freaking out. Meanwhile, you got Nick and Mariah realizing that they haven't seen Sharon. They haven't heard from Sharon in a couple of days. Nick was supposed to sit there and see Sharon for, I don't know, lunch or something, or breakfast. I have no idea. You never know what time it is in these soap operas. But anyway, they start realizing, like, something's going on, and she's missing and stuff. And Chance just happens to overhear, and he's like, Phyllis is actually missing too. So, instead of doing this in the police station, he decides to sit there and call Summer and Daniel over, which was so not a good idea, right? Because once Chance informs Summer and Daniel about Sharon missing, Summer, like the immature brat that she is, immediately starts pointing fingers at Sharon. And Mariah decides to go back and start pointing fingers at Phyllis. So they're going back and forth, and this is getting nowhere. And honestly, to tell you the truth, they're both acting like a pair of jackasses, if we're going to be honest, because this isn't helping anything. Now, my take from this, besides the fact that both y'all need to just kind of like shut the F up and just kind of be worried that both of your moms is missing at the same time, and maybe put away your animosity towards each other's moms and think about how we're going to try to get them back. But when I sit there and I look at the argument, I'm sitting there thinking, here's the thing, Summer. You're sitting there making it seem like Sharon is going to come after Phyllis. When in reality, everything that she did, one, obviously not her fault because of the PCP, but moreover, she already got away with it. She's already in the clear. Why would Sharon still come after your mother at this point? What would be the point? Like, she's literally in the clear. There's no reason to come after your mother at this point. But there's plenty of reason for your mother to still sit there and come after Sharon, because like Mariah said, hey, listen, I'm not just going to let you get away with this. So honestly, tell you too, Summer, you really, between the both of you really need to keep your goddamn mouth shut. And I'm not saying this because I don't like her. I'm saying because at the end of the day, it's most likely that Phyllis did something to Sharon than Sharon doing something for Phyllis, to Phyllis. Now, it turns out that Phyllis and Sharon are in some room, unconscious, and we don't know who took them, but at this point, they've clearly been captured. They've been captured, and we don't know about who. Now, everyone sits there suspecting that it's Ian Ward, and it very well could be, but time will tell. Adam and Chelsea. Adam tells Chelsea about that dream. You know, that stupid Valentine's episode that was a complete and utter waste of time? Yeah. So he tells her about that dream. And at first she wants to sit there and back off a little bit, being like, oh, well, maybe I should sit there and kind of renegotiate this whole boundaries thing because I don't want to put any ideas in your head or whatever. But, he's like, hey, listen, I just want to be honest. It's about honesty and transparency. And she does sit there and talk about how she thinks about him sometimes too, and thinks about some of the memories that they had, like watching The Outsiders and him helping her study for her GED. Between that and, their memories and talking about Connor and stuff, when Adam asked her to, for dinner, let's just sit there and see where it goes. Let's just take this slow, see where it goes, and see what happens. She agrees. I know people are going to sit there and say that Adam belongs to Sally. I mean, Sally belongs to Adam. No. Sally does not belong with a cheater. Okay? Sally does not belong with a cheater. Can we all acknowledge that he cheated on her, he gaslighted her, he wasn't even going to sit there and tell her if it wasn't for Billy. Unless y'all want her to be with a cheater. Is that what you're supposed to say? I'm just going to put it out this right now. If you want Sally to be back with Adam, that means that you want Sally to be with a cheater. There's no other way around it. You can't separate the cheating part and just put those two back together because people find them cute. That doesn't work. So if you want them back together, that means you want all of that back together. And I would definitely love to sit there and hear your reasons why, including the cheating part, because we're not leaving that out. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. Cannot think of anything else. But if I did, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video and hopefully live stream.